Good evening, everyone. How are you? I am Dr. Keshab Mandal from India, from Kolkata. Yeah, you know that there is a tension, a great tension has been arising between India and Pakistan because on 22nd of April, some Pakistani trained terrorists attacked on Indian tourists. Some innocent tourists, at least 2 dozens, more than 2 dozens, 25 innocent Indian tourists were killed by identifying their religion. Similarly, one Nepalese person was also killed in that terrorist attack. So this was one of the heinous crimes committed against Indian people, particularly the Hindu religious people. Okay, because it has been learned by media and by the eyewitness or the people who were there. They are saying that those who have survived that massacre, they said that the Kashmiri militants, I would not say, yeah, some were Kashmiri and some were from Pakistan. They were asking the religion of the persons, and after knowing that they are Hindus, when they identified and they became sure that these are Indian people, then they are Hindu people, then they shoot them. Okay, and very mercilessly, and as a result, people and the leaders from across the world have condemned the act, this terrorist attack. Okay, Indian people as a whole, all sections of people, all kinds of people, the majority people are in favor of a war, because people are asking for a retaliation and direct attack of Pakistan, so that India can give a good lesson to Pakistan. Okay, so this is the demand, or public demand, or this is the sentiment of Indian people. But you see, I am a teacher and I am a researcher. At the same time, I am a patriotic Indian. So I, being a social scientist, cannot say or cannot prescribe our government to go into war with Pakistan. Why I am not saying this while the entire India and our friendly country, Mr. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, and our honorable Prime Minister's friend, is saying, and similarly many other countries have extended their support, and they said that yeah, go ahead with, and whatever necessary, whatever requirements you are having, you please tell and we will support you. And definitely, but Putin went one step ahead and said that if China comes to help Pakistan, both of them will learn a good lesson and they will have to face the consequences. So these are the promises have been extended by a friend to another friend. Mr. Putin has extended the support to our honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. These are the good things. But apart from that, I, being a social science researcher, and very recently I have become a member. Not member, I have renewed my membership card of US Library, and from that library I am having the access of thousands of books and magazines and articles and newspapers. Okay, there was one article. It has been written by a very prominent author, that is Lawrence D. Freedman, and it was published in Foreign Affairs magazine, and the magazine it was published on 1st May 2025, and the name of the article is The Age of Forever Wars. The Age of Forever Wars. Okay, and yes, on Saturday I prepared another video where I have told that India should learn lessons from Israel and Russia, because both Russia and Israel are now in war. Russia has engaged in war with Ukraine, and Russia attacked in 2022, attacked Ukraine, and Israel attacked that Gaza. So the Israel-Palestinian war still continuing, though Israel thought Israel is technologically very developed country, and it thought that within a month or within 2 months we will, or maximum within within few days we will win over a small country, that's a small place, Gaza, and we will destroy them. And yes, it was their intention, but what happened? Actually, 15 months already passed. Still, there was no any win. There was no any sign of win. Okay, number one. Number two, I would like to say, similarly, Russia thought that Ukraine, small country in comparison with Russia, thought that within a week or 2 weeks, the war strategist said to Putin, maybe, probably, I am thinking that they have said that yeah, we can go war, and definitely we will win over the the war, maybe within 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. But actually, it didn't happen. It already passed or crossed 3 years. So just imagine, 3 years. They are very recently this Russia-Ukraine conflict, and 15 months or more than 1 year has already been or have already been passed in Israel and Gaza, or Palestinian war. So you see, there is no any chance of stopping the war. Similarly, if India now attacks Pakistan, yeah, it has all strength, it has all power, it has all preparation, and if India attacks, definitely Pakistan will not be or not in a position to defend itself. Pakistan will be defeated, Pakistan will be destroyed, Pakistan will be spoiled, Pakistan will be damaged, Pakistan will have to face other many bad consequences. India can take immediate action today, at any moment India can take action. But I am not in favor of war. I myself, as a patriotic Indian, I am not in favor of war. Why I am not in favor of war? Because you see, I am telling that in the Foreign Affairs magazine, there was an article written by Lawrence D. Freedman. In that article, he has written, and actually he is a great writer. He is an emeritus professor of war studies at King's College London, and he is the author of Command the Politics of Military Operations from Korea and Ukraine, and co-author of the Substack Commentaries Freight. Okay, so, and this magazine also very reputed magazine, and this is Foreign Affairs. It's a very old magazine because it has been running since 1922. You just imagine. So more than 100 years have been passed. So Foreign Affairs has been the leading forum for serious discussion of American foreign policy and global affairs. So Foreign Affairs is published by the Council of Foreign Relations and covers a range of topics that gives one the complete picture of the most important issues today. Now, in this article, actually, he has shown, Professor Lawrence or Freedman has highlighted that nowadays war is not a war we may not be win within a week or 2 weeks, because this is the age of forever wars. This is the age of forever wars. Remember, forever wars. He is not saying that this is a temporary phase, this is a temporary cause. No, this is a temporary phase. No, this is not a temporary event. It is a permanent or forever wars. Once, nowadays in 21st century, once a war begins, it may not stop within 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Maybe India is a very strong country, and Pakistan is a very comparatively very weak country, or a weaker country than India. India's population is 144 billion, whereas Pakistan is having only 23 crore population. It's nothing. Okay, so India has so much powerful. India is the world's 4th largest military power, while Pakistan is not near to it, and India is world's largest what I say, populated country, and India is now world's fifth largest economy. So in all these terms, India is much ahead of Pakistan. Okay, but you see, if India attacks Pakistan, so definitely Pakistan's friend China will come to help Pakistan, because both China and Pakistan are all-time friends. Remember, similarly, India and Russia are all-time friends. Okay, whoso may be in power, but there is a close relationship between India and Pakistan. We have seen that during 71 war with Pakistan, Russia came to support India when the United States of America already sent their fleet. And Russia also came to assist India, so, right? So we all know that Russia is an all-time friend of India. So whatever might be the consequences, Russia will be there. And similarly, US President Donald Trump is also with our country, and with our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because both Modi and Trump are having intimate friendship. They have some informal relationship also out of this. Maybe their political position, maybe the size of country, maybe the size of economy, but both are the largest democracies in the world. India is the largest democracy in the world, whereas United States of America is the oldest democracy in the world. So both the democracies are very strong democracies. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss in details of that, but my discussion or my point here is how India, how nowadays wars are staying forever. Okay, it is not that it will if India initiates or starts a war by today night, and tomorrow or within 7 days, within 8 days, within 100 days, it will be finished or it will be closed and Pakistan will be flattened. No, flattened. No, it might not happen, and it is not happening actually. You see, if there is war, what might happen? There might be losses of human beings. There might be, now it will be, there will be killing and wounded or injury of thousands of people. Okay, and maybe it even cross lakhs of people, particularly mainly in border areas and metropolitan areas. The hospitals will be destroyed, health centers will be destroyed, colleges, schools, universities, health centers, infrastructure, communication system, bridges, roads, everything will be destroyed. Big offices will be destroyed, and important people, important persons will be destroyed, killed. So there might be immense losses. We may lose our people, we may lose our GDP, we may not, we shall lose, we will lose if the war lasts long. Then India will have to face those consequences. India's GDP will be lowered. India's per capita income will be lowered. India's people will be died. Indian military personnel will be killed. Indian border security force will be killed. Navy will be damaged, and Air Force will also be. Aircrafts might be decreased, or might be stolen, or might be lost, right? So it is not that one party, one country will win within a few seconds. It is not possible. Moreover, Pakistan is a nuclear powerful country. Remember, America, why US used to keep relationship with Pakistan earlier? Because Pakistan is a nuclear country. Nuclear weapon is there, so Pakistan has nothing to lose, but India has many things to lose, right? So that is why I am repeatedly making videos, and I am trying to give a message to the government and policy makers of India that do not initiate a war immediately against Pakistan, because now it is not the time for war. What our Honorable Prime Minister said to Vladimir Putin, that it is not the time for war. Similarly, I suggest, or I request the government of India and its policy makers, I request Mr. Ajit Doval, I request Mr. Rajnath Singh, and I request Mr. Amit Shah, along with our Honorable Prime Minister, that this is not the time. Whatever action you have, or whatever measures you have already taken are enough, and you can take many other measures without fighting, without sending your army, without sending our army, to attack, without sending our missiles, without firing our missiles to their establishments, right? They have also arranged their missiles in the border areas, right? So all these things should be kept in mind. And after that, before attacking, you should think twice. No, I would say before attacking Pakistan, you should think at least 100 times. There might be more discussions, there might be open discussions. Yes, you discuss, you take, you may debate, you may take opinions from people. I do not know this message will go to you or not, but this is my humble request not to go to war. Why? I am saying in more details. In 1991, there was an Operation Desert Storm. What was Operation Desert Storm? It was a campaign to liberate Kuwait from Iraqi occupation, right? So the United States and its coalition allies unleashed massive air, land and sea power. It was over in a matter of weeks. But this Operation Desert Storm, which was carried out in 1991, was finished within a week, right? Within a week, or within a few weeks. The contrast, but the different thing is that the contrast is that between United States grueling and unsuccessful war in Vietnam. How many years the Vietnam War continued? Do you know? The Vietnam War, it started in November 1955, and it finished on 30th April 1975. It was an armed conflict. Let me say you a little bit, right? So it was an armed conflict in Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia, fought between North Vietnam, Democratic Republic of Vietnam there was, and South Vietnam Republic of Vietnam and their allies. North Vietnam was supported by Soviet Union and China, while South Vietnam was supported by United States and other anti-communist nations, right? The conflict was the second of the Indo-China wars and a proxy war of Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States. In essence, the Vietnam War was a post-colonial war of national liberation, a significant theater in the global Cold War, and simultaneously a civil war, with civil warfare as a defining feature from the outset. Direct US military involvement escalated from 1965 until its withdrawal in 1973. The fighting spilled into the Laotian and Cambodian civil wars, which ended with 3 countries becoming communist in 1975. So, at first, America directly was involved there in Vietnam from 1965 to 1973. For how many years? 8 years. What was the result? Result was that 3 countries becoming communist in 1975. Okay, and the Soviet Union also took or involved in their Soviet-Afghan war. Do you know for how many years it took? 9 years, 1 month and 3 weeks. Soviet Union also, Soviet Union waged a war. Soviet Union initiated a war in Afghanistan, which continued for 9 years, 1 month and 3 weeks. And who won the war? Do you think that Afghanistan is a small country, is a hilly country, whereas Russia is a very powerful country? At the time, Soviet Union was a very powerful country. But what happened? It started on 25th December 1979, and on 15th February 1989, 79 to 89, 9 years, 1 month and 3 weeks it continued. Ultimately, Afghan Mujahideen attained victory. So, Afghan Mujahideen won the battle. It is not that always you will get battle. Whenever there will be tension or terror, or there will be fighting or war, there will be many countries many countries will come to help the weaker countries. Okay, and there are many calculations actually in war. So definitely don't think that, I am telling this to the people who are supporting or advocating or inciting our government to go to war. Yes, every life is important, and I pay my heartfelt condolences to the families of all those I mean next kith and kin who passed away or who was killed brutally by the terrorists. But for that, I do not support or I do not tell our government or suggest our government or prescribe our government to lose more people, more military, do not lose more money. Already 6,400 crore rupees have been spent to buy how many 26 Rafales, right? Those will not be supplied now, those will be supplied by 28, and other last part will be supplied in 2030. Okay, so remember all these things. And I would say what is happening now. So USA, but and what happened in Afghanistan? Not only Russia, United States of America also made a campaign, military campaign in Afghanistan, and the longest war in the US history. How long did it happen? The US war in Afghanistan lasted for 19 years, 10 months and 3 weeks, 2 days. It means almost 20 years United States of America fought in Afghanistan. And what happened? Did United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, own the battle? No, it could not. Right? Who came to power after the battle? Taliban came to power. Taliban came to power as soon as the United States of America, the Biden administration, withdrew its forces. So you cannot predict that who will win the battle. You may be powerful country, you may be very strong country, you may be very prosperous country, you may have sophisticated weapons, you may have many advantages, but still nobody can predict that you will win the war. Remember all those things, remember all those things. That is why I have read this article and I am just sharing my experience, and not my experience, my knowledge with you, the policy makers, the decision makers, and the people who are saying and we are vigorously supporting that India should initiate war against Pakistan. Nobody can say that the people who are shouting their life will not be in danger. Nobody can say, right? Moreover, Pakistan is a nuclear powerful country. It is a nuclear, there are nuclear weapons. If Pakistan is attacked by India, they have nothing to lose, I told you, and they might use, they have already threatened that they might use the nuclear weapons against India. Remember what might be the consequences. Okay, so the hopes proved short-lived. Pakistan, United States of America thought that they will also win the Afghanistan, and their rule will be permanently established there, but this did not happen, right? So Taliban came to power once again. So this is the situation. This is the situation. I just wanted to share with you that it is not that nowadays whenever there will be war and full-fledged war, and the powerful only win. So now, even if a ceasefire can be reached, the war will have lasted for more than 3 years. Where it is in Russia, Ukraine war. Okay. Similarly, when Israel launched its invasion of Gaza in retaliation for Hamas's October 7, 2023 assault and hostage-taking, U.S. President Joe Biden urged that the Israeli operation should be swift, decisive, and overwhelming. Instead, it continued for 15 months. So, in between there was a truce, but in the month of January 2025. But once again, by the mid-March, the war has been resumed there. Okay, so let me share with you some latest armed conflicts around the world. People, you should know that it is not that only war is only this tension is growing between India and Pakistan. It is not. Already 110, more than 110 armed conflicts are going on in the world. Can you imagine? It is exact figure is 114 actually. So, and the today's armed conflicts in Geneva Academy published a report, and this report says that it monitors, Geneva Academy, it monitors more than 10 armed conflicts and provides information about parties, the latest developments and applicable international law. Some of these conflicts make the headlines, others do not. Okay? Some of them started recently, while others have lasted for more than 50 years. The wars are continuing for more than 50 years. You just imagine what will happen to those countries. But India is now having a vision. Our Honorable Prime Minister has himself said that India should be a developed nation by 2047. Today, our Honorable Prime Minister came to a live television lecture, and in that live television lecture, he said that he talked about India's Viksit Bharat by 2047. So in the one mouth you will say about Viksit Bharat, and on the other mouth we cannot, or you cannot wage a full-fledged war against Pakistan, right? And the people who are saying that yes, India should strike, India should attack, I am saying, I am requesting to them, we have a mission, we have a vision, we have a target, we have a great aim to make our India a developed nation. I have written a book, you see, this Viksit Bharat challenges and solutions. What are the challenges? I have because it is not possible for our Honorable Prime Minister to tell all those things, because he is busy and his mental situation is also not right. He is not free. His mind is not free because tension is there. Definitely, being the head of the state, he tried to show that yes, there is no tension, but actually we understand, the people understand that how much tensed he is now. Okay, but being he does meditation every day, and he lives a very sage-like life, and he does pranayam, and he eats less, and he is a devotee, and he maintains discipline, punctuality. All those things are very good qualities he possesses. That's why he remains very sober and calm. Okay, so these are the good things. We feel proud to have a prime minister like him, right? So now I am saying another thing. I am saying that that Viksit Bharat I have written, and you see this book, how can India become a superpower by 2047? This book has been published from Kyoto Publishing last year. It is the result of my 4 years research and the experience I have put in this book. How can India become a superpower by 2047? It is an 867-page book, whereas this one is half letter. There are 14 chapters, but in this book only 6 chapters are there. There is, the people who are already reading this book, those who purchased the book, have already got the test, right? And today's Prime Minister's lecture, you will find that those who have read this book, and they all know that what the Honorable Prime Minister said have been written by me. I have already written all these things, okay, because our Prime Minister's vision means my vision. I want progress, I want development, I want to see a Viksit Bharat. Maybe I may not live, but in the book I have written that I may not live, I may not see in my open eyes, but I will feel that India has achieved this goal. India has become a developed nation by 2047. Okay, that is my dream also. That is why I have given the blueprint how India can become a $25 trillion economy or $30 trillion economy by 2047. I have not said only that what is Viksit Bharat and what are the goals, and I have said how to go, how to achieve. This is the credit actually. We the social scientists have the responsibility towards our nation, that we should make research and we should give suggestions, we should give prescription to the government of India or to state government, so that the policymakers can learn or can be enriched from our books and from our articles, and so that they can take the nation rightly or in right direction. Okay. So I am just telling a little bit that in the Middle East and North Africa there are 45 armed conflicts. What are the most important countries where in Middle East and Africa where armed conflicts are going on? Cyprus number 1, Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Libya, Morocco, Palestine, Syria, Turkey, Yemen and Western Sahara. So these are the places where the majority are non-international, okay. So involving a multitude of armed non-state actors and foreign interventions by Western powers, Russia and neighboring countries, except in NISs taking place in Egypt and Turkey, okay. In Africa also more than 35 armed conflicts are going on. Still, Africa comes second in the number of armed conflicts per region, with more than 35 non-international armed conflicts, NIACs, okay. So non-international armed conflicts 35 taking place in Burkina Faso. Remember, Burkina Faso is the top terrorist country in the world. The second position comes to Pakistan. Pakistan is the second most terrorist country because it has been in a report published, the International Terrorist Index. In that index you will find that Burkina Faso is the most terrorist country in the world, whereas Pakistan is the second most terrorist country in the world, okay. Then Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic and Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Mali, Mozambique, Nigeria, Senegal, Somalia, South Sudan and Sudan are the areas where armed conflicts are going on in Africa, okay. So other countries are there in armed conflicts in Asia. In 21 countries armed conflicts are going on, including Afghanistan, India, Myanmar, Pakistan and the Philippines. Also India-Pakistan war, India-Pakistan tension and India and China are also taking place in the region. So you see in Europe there are 7 armed conflicts are going on in Europe. 4 out of 7 conflicts. Russia is currently occupying Crimea. Ukraine's Crimea it has occupied, and Transnistria, it's in Moldova, as well as South Ossetia and Abkhazia, that falls in Georgia, while Armenia is occupying ports of Nagorno-Karabakh, that is also in Azerbaijan. Europe is also the theater of an international armed conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and 2 non-international armed conflicts in Ukraine. So you see that even Europe is also not freed from war or conflicts. Latin America there are 6 armed conflicts, mainly in Mexico and Colombia. So you see there are so many conflicts are going on in the world, okay. So in that situation you cannot say that you within a week or within 2 weeks or within a few weeks you will win over the battle, or you will win over the you will win over the war. It is not possible, right? So winning the war quickly was a 19th century conception, right? So winning a war is now a 19th century conception. It cannot be, say, a 20th century, 21st century conception. So the idea that surprise offensives could produce decisive victories began to be embedded in military thinking in the 19th century. But again and again, forces that undertake them have shown how difficult it is to bring a war an end early and satisfactory conclusion. So European military leaders were confident that the war that began in the summer of 1914 could be over by Christmas, a phrase that is still invoked whenever generals sound too optimistic. Instead, the fighting would last until November 1918. So the First World War continued. They thought that by summer, in summer the war started, and the strategists and the war strategists thought that over or by Christmas the war will be ended. But actually, it took so many years. 4 years, more than 4 years to conclude the war. It ended actually in November 1918. Okay, concluding with the first offensives, but only after years of devastating trench warfare about almost static front lines in 1940, Germany overran much of Western Europe in a matter of weeks to months, a blitzkrieg, bringing together armor and air power. But what happened actually? But it could not finish the job, and after initial rapid advances against the Soviet Union in 1941, it was drawn into a brutal war with enormous casualties on both sides that would only end nearby 4 years later with the total collapse of the Third Reich. Third Reich means Germany. So similarly, the decision by Japan to attack USA, what happened? USA was destroyed in 1945, okay, and by United States of America, because they dropped their atom bombs, and that killed many people, nearly directly by nearly 1 lakh and 20,000 people, and many other people were killed afterwards. Okay, so yet despite this long history of protracted conflict, military strategists continue to shape their thinking around short wars, in which in both world wars the key to victory was unbeatable stamina is supposed to be decided in the first days or even hours to combat. According to its model, strategies can still be devised that will leave the enemy surprised by the speed, direction and ruthlessness of the initial attack, with the constant possibility that the United States could be drawn into a war with China over Taiwan. The viability of such strategies has become a pressing issue. Can China quickly seize the island using lightning force, or will Taiwan, supported by the United States, be able to stop such an attack if in its attacks? So what is clear is that amid rising tensions between the United States and a victory of antagonists, there is a critical misalignment in defense planning. Remember, so in recognition of the tendency of wars to drag on, some strategists have begun to warn about the dangers of falling into the short war fallacy. So the people who are saying, who are suggesting, who are shouting that start a war immediately against Pakistan and capture Pakistan or destroy Pakistan immediately, it doesn't happen. Why? It doesn't happen actually. So many things are involved with it. Okay, so these are the things nowadays. Short-term war or short war is a fallacy now. Okay, so by emphasizing short war strategies rely too much on initial battle plans that may not play out in practice with its bitter consequences. Andrew Krepnevich has argued that a protracted US war with China would involve kinds of warfare with which the belligerents have little experience, and that it could pose the decisive military test of time. Moreover, failure to prepare for long wars creates vulnerabilities of its own. To transition from a short war to a protracted one, countries must impose different demands of their military and on society as a whole. They also will need to reappraise their objectives and what they are prepared to commit to achieve them. What are the aims? What are the objectives of fighting with Pakistan or fighting against Pakistan? What India wants to achieve, what India wants to capture. Will India be able to capture whole Pakistan? Will India be able to bring all the Pakistani people under India? Will Pakistan be able to control or occupy Pakistan occupied Kashmir? Will India be able to use all its minerals? Will India be able to use Pakistan's army? Will India be able to capture their trades, business, and industries, everything? No, it can never happen. If it would happen, then it would happen in Afghanistan also. Because how many years Russia, they fought in Afghanistan for more than 9 years. America initiated war and it continued for almost 20 years there. But in both the cases in Afghanistan, First time Hezbollah came to power, and next time Taliban came to power. But neither Russia nor USA, the two most powerful countries, could not win the war, right? So they all had to suffer, they all had to face losses. So difference between short-term wars and long wars. So once military planners accept that any major contemporary war might not end quickly, they are required to adopt a different mindset. Short wars are fought with whatever resources are available at the time. Long wars require the development of capabilities. Remember, long war requires the development of capabilities that are geared to changing operational imperatives, capabilities or development of capabilities that are geared to changing operational imperatives, as demonstrated by the continual transformation of drone warfare in Ukraine, right? So short wars may present only temporary disruptions of a country's economy and society and do not require extensive supply lines. Long wars demand strategies for maintaining popular support, number one, functioning economies, number two, secure ways to rearm, restock and replenish troops. All those things should be arranged by the belligerent countries in terms of long wars. Long wars also require constant adaptation and evolution. The longer a conflict lasts, the more pressure there is for innovations in tactics and technologies that might yield a breakthrough. Even for a great power, failure to prepare for and then rise to meet these challenges could be disastrous, right? So, yet it is also fair to ask how realistic it is to plan for wars that do not have a clear end point. So, it is one thing to sustain a protracted counter-insurgency campaign, but quite another to prepare for a conflict that would involve continuing and substantial losses of people. Remember, continual and substantial losses of people, equipment and ammunition over an extended period. For defense strategists, there may also be significant obstacles to this kind of planning. The militaries they serve may lack the resources to prepare for a long war. The answer to this dilemma is not to prepare for wars of indefinite duration, but to develop theories of victory that are realistic in their political objectives and flexible in how they might achieve. Right? I am not going to discuss in details, because I would like to focus now on the losses of people, equipment and ammunition over extended period or over in a long war that happened in where that happened in Russia. I will say what happened actually in Russia to continue the war 3 years on. There was an article in Russia Matters, and in that Russia Matters there was an article 3 years later, what Russia's aggression in Ukraine has cost it and what it's gained. Right? It was written by Simon Sarasdian, Ivan Eriguin, Toft, Angelina Flood. Okay. So in this article they have said that is Vladimir Putin a rational actor who weighs costs and benefits before making a monumental decision such as whether to invade another country? Let me say what kind of, it is the 3rd anniversary going on of the Russia-Ukraine war, but what kind of losses did Russia face, okay, in the horrendous costs it incurred. Okay, so Russia, we of course acknowledge the horrendous costs which have been endured by Ukraine and Ukrainians, including hundreds and thousands of military casualties and thousands of civilian fatalities. Okay, so costs of now I will say that humanitarian impact, displacement and civilian deaths, veteran crime, civilian losses, at least 388 individuals killed inside Russia. Russia is a powerful country. Despite that, 388 individuals were killed inside Russia as of December 2024. International displacements, at least 1,20,000 fled from Russia's Kursk region alone, estimated in October 2024, with 3,000 stayed to live in the Ukrainian-controlled parts of the region, estimated in February 2025. The internal population displacement and criticism of the authorities' handling of these individuals' plight creates additional social and political pressure on Mr. Putin's regime, right? So, external displacement, 8 lakh immigrants emigrated for economic and political fears, that is 0.6% of Russian population. How many? 800,000, that is 8 lakh people have fled Russia, okay. Then violent crimes by veterans. What happened in this case? This includes the offences committed by convicts who were released from jail, so on the condition that they would join combat on the Russian side for 6 months or more. At least 1,500 fell victims of these crimes at hands of veterans, with 242 persons killed and 227 suffering grave bodily injuries. You see what happened there. Mr. Putin had released those criminals from jails, and they have been told to fight against Ukraine, and many people are died, many people are injured. Those criminals were died. So what is strategy? Then military personnel losses, how many military personnel were lost by Mr. Putin. Estimates of the number of Russian servicemen killed or wounded or missing vary, but most recent estimates show casualties of 700,000 or more. 700,000 or more. Remember, 700,000 or more military personnel were killed or lost in the war between Ukraine and Russia. So, for a daily rate of 670 casualties, how many? 670 casualties daily. Will India be able to bear? Will Indian people will be able to bear these kinds of losses? These kinds of losses are of our brothers and sisters. Can we lose our military personnel in such a number? We cannot afford to do this, which is 50% less than the lower estimates. Okay. So, military equipments losses. Do you know what military equipments were lost during this war? Russia had to lose vehicles and equipments of 20,282. It is estimated up to February 2025. 20,282 military vehicles and equipment were lost by Russia. Next, tanks and armored vehicles, 11,819. It was estimated in February 2025. Aircrafts, 305. 305 aircrafts were lost or damaged or destroyed that belong to Russia. So, you just imagine or calculate the losses incurred by Russia. So, economic cost generated by Western sanctions. Economic cost, because Western people, Western powers and United States of America also jointly they imposed economic sanctions on Russia. As a result, Russia remains the most heavily sanctioned country in the world in 2025. Over 20,000 sanctions, over 20,000 sanctions have been levied by 50 countries in the world, more than 80% of which were implemented following the February 2022 full-scale invasion of Ukraine. According to Forbes, the punitive measures against Russia are estimated to have cost a lot. An estimated 340 billion of Russian central bank reserves have been frozen. You just imagine, $340 billion worth of Russian central bank reserves have been frozen. Number two, Russia's financial sector suffered hundreds of billions of dollars in direct losses from sanctions, according to an internal Russian finance ministry document obtained in the fall of 2024 by Bloomberg. Russia's energy sector lost an estimated $78.5 billion in exports, earning compared to a no-sanction scenario from December 2022 to June 2025, according to Kiev School of Economics. A journalistic investigation estimated in March 2024 that Ukrainian strikes had ended facilities which accounted for 1/6 of the production of gasoline and diesel fuels in Russia's non-operational. You just imagine, as on January 1st, 2025, a total of 467 companies have completely exited Russia, according to the Kiev School of Economics. So, you see the huge losses suffered by Russia. So, other things, Russia's GDP declined by some 2.3% in 2022. So, Russian economy, Russian GDP has been slumped. The sanctions also likely to have contributed to the emergence of a hole in Russia's federal budget with a deficit equivalent to 2.3% of GDP in 2022. Okay, as of February 18, 2025, the Russian ruble was worth 0.01093 US dollars, 13.75%. In 23, it decreased to 5.86%, but then rose again in 2024. So, as of late 2024, the central bank's key interest rates was at a record high 21%. You just think the economic impact. So, we find that there are economic impact, military impact, and so many others, and there are, and so Russia declined by 2022 by 60% compared to 2021, and 6,50,000 punitive reductions, export of parts to Russia of car manufacturing, it has been reduced, or it has been lost, or it has been decreased. So, in this way I find that that many in many spheres USA has been Russia is suffering. And you see the geopolitical costs, the Russian leadership's inability and or to reluctance to divert resources from the war against Ukraine to help official allies has led to a dramatic decline in Russia's influence on Armenia and Syria. The future of the failure to come to the rescue of these allies could help impact the cost-benefit analysis by leaders of countries that are weighing whether to continue allied relations with Russia or to enter such relations. You see, so diplomatic semi-isolation, Russia has been isolated from many countries, from Western countries mainly. Okay, and you see, in this way, Russia is suffering a huge loss, and Russia's reputation as a world-class military power has been damaged. So, you see, territorial loss. On August 6, 2024, Ukraine undertook a surprise invasion of Russia's Kursk region, soon capturing 470 square miles of Russia, including the city of Sudzha. Ukraine still controls 172 square miles of its original salient in Kursk. So, you see, these are the consequences have been faced or have been suffered by Russia. So, can I say that yes, you go ahead with your war plan? Definitely, I will say, I will request the government of India not to go against Pakistan, not to go in a direct conflict with Pakistan. So, that is not a good suggestion, and I cannot give this kinds of suggestion to our government and our leaders and policy makers, because these might be a boomerang for India. This might cause a great deficit, this might cause a great a great loss to India, and above all, the vision of India that to become a $25 trillion economy or $30 trillion economy, or to become a developed nation by 2047, the vision will be damaged, the vision will be shattered into bites if India goes to direct war in Pakistan. Okay, and already it has spent money, and it is spending money, because all those things are necessary what India government is doing, and definitely it should do more actions, it should take more actions, but don't go to war directly against Pakistan, then there might be fatal consequences. That is why. And another thing is that the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, is now the world's most popular Prime Minister. It is the world's most favorite leader, and he is the it is considered by people in the world that he is the wisest person, wisest political leader in the world. He is an incarnation of Swami Vivekananda. He is a great man. He is a devoted person. He is a sage-like person, and he leads a very simple life. But his thoughts are different. He has been able to uplift the 25 crore people of India, and there are many achievements. I have no time to say all those things, but I would say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing well. The government of India is now doing well. In last 10 years, India has become from 10th to 5th largest economy in the world. India's defense sector is very strong. India is now exporting its defense equipment to more than 100 countries. India is feeding to many countries, nearly 40 countries in the world, after fulfilling its need of food. So India is a very strong country now, and some neighboring countries and some others, Western countries, are envious of that, envious of India's progress and India's development and popularity of our Prime Minister and popularity of our government, and they are envious of our democracy. And that is why many people are advocating, or there are many people are inciting that India should go to war. But I, being a patriotic Indian, I request to the government to the government of India, particularly our Prime Minister, our Defence Minister, and our internal security advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, Mr. Rajnath Singh, to all of them, to all the people, those who are taking decisions, to all the secretaries, defense secretaries, and all of them, not to go to war. Please do or take other diplomatic measures. Mr. Jaishankar is the great man. He knows what are the rules there, and how we can squeeze a country, how we can give tight to a country, because he is a master of international relations. He is the best person in India now to give suggestions to government, and I think that because the government of India is having a very good team under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, so let the team come forward to assist our Honorable Prime Minister and to avert all necessary measures, and but at the same time how to give a lesson to Pakistan, that should also be taken. It should not leave completely. It should not quit, definitely, because our Prime Minister, our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru said that yeah, we are neutral. Definitely we will neutral. We are a non-aligned country, but when our interest, national interest, is jeopardized, and when the security and safety of our countrymen, our country as a whole, is jeopardized, then definitely India cannot take sannyas. India cannot take sannyas. Definitely India will take retaliation, and there are so many other means of retaliation, and India should take all those things. India should adopt all those things, and India should win over the battle. Maybe this is in a diplomatic way, or through other means that have been described, or that has been mentioned in the Security Council Article 33. So I hope that this phase we shall overcome, and India will stick to its vision of achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047, and I pray to God Almighty that India, that please give strength to India so that it can survive, it can avert war, it can avert killing, it can avert losses, and it can stick to its principle or vision of making India a developed nation by 2047. With this hope and expectation, I would like to conclude here, because it's already 55 minutes, so I cannot continue more. With this, I would like to conclude here, and I would like to again thank to all of you, because you have been listening to me for such a long time. Okay, thank you very much for lending your ears and bearing me for such a long time. Thank you very much, and good night. Good night to all of you.